To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's
puertas.
a wildest ride in the world.
When invisibility doors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we got the whole gang together and we're going to talk about dining at Disneyland. I've got my wonderful fiance, Kristen, here,
Hello, everyone.
and Brian has his wonderful wife, Tammy, with him.
Hello.
Yeah, so we did a lot of eating over at Disneyland, and we thought these two wonderful, beautiful women would help us out and do a better job than we can do. Hey, Mikhailo?
Yeah, I agree with everything in that statement.
We love to eat.
I was talking about the beautiful part.
Before we get going too quickly here, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you go out and share it and let somebody know that you're having a good time and help us grow.
Anyways, we wanted to start with in our trip, we made an effort to kind of meet up every so often. And one of the spots that we met up at was Blue Bayou. And we were both really excited to eat at this particular restaurant, mainly because it's right on the shores of parts of the Caribbean. So you can actually see the ride. It's like a restaurant within the ride. And we were super excited about that. Kristen and I have been to a restaurant kind of like that at San Angel Inn, and we really enjoyed it. So we were really excited about eating here as well, especially for the ambiance.
Yeah, this was one of my bucket list items. Like, I needed to eat here. It's been on my list forever. So I didn't care what the reviews were. I didn't care what other people were saying about it. I was eating there and I didn't care. The family was going there, whether I said so or not.
And I think we all had a lot of fun. I have to say, just like in general, on this trip, it was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and hanging out with the whole family. Usually when Kristen and I go, we're able to kind of just like do our own thing because we're usually on the same page of what we want to do, and it's just the two of us. But it was cool to be able to kind of like hang out with a large group and kind of socialize with your family. So we had a lot of fun. And that definitely translated into this meal. I was actually sitting next to Mia, who is Brian's daughter, and she was right at the head of the table, and she was hilarious to sit next to.
She kept you entertained, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that this dinner that we all shared at Blue Bayou was one of the highlights of the trip. It was just a good time. Like, the restaurant itself was amazing, just being in that ambiance with the ride. Yeah, and we all got to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, I thought you couldn't really beat the atmosphere there. It's definitely really pretty in there with the shooting stars and all the lanterns.
And the fireflies.
Mm-hmm.
I kept noticing fireflies here and there. I thought that was really neat.
We had a really excellent server too.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his name. Do you guys remember his name at all? He was really
I
good.
feel like it was
I
Tim.
don't.
Wasn't it Tim? I think it was Tim.
We're going to go with that.
I could probably dig through our receipts and maybe find it.
That's true. It might be on there. He was really good, though. He would joke around with us. Didn't he say, well, you guys asked about splitting the check?
Oh,
and he
yeah.
said, I could, but I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah.
And then he did.
So, I'm trying to think. What, there was 7 of us, and I think 5 of us had steak,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. As much as I love that atmosphere, I did not love my steak. I gotta say, for as expensive as it wasn't the best steak I've ever had. But the mashed potatoes and the carrots were really good. The corn fritters we got were really good. My hurricane was excellent.
I would agree with what Tammy just said, just because we were spoiled the day before with
yeah,
an
we'll
amazing
get to
meal.
that.
But Kylo and I also went to Blue Bayou a second time during that trip for lunch, just because I really wanted to try the Monte Cristo. Um, and I thought that that would have been a better experience overall. I don't know, like, but still, the food wasn't amazing. It's the atmosphere is what like makes that restaurant.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about the whole thing, was that like, and especially kind of like the history and the atmosphere of everything. I also like Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean better, like miles ahead of Disney World's Pirates of the Caribbean. So I was really excited to kind of like be in that ride at the same time. But yeah, I have to say, I mean, there were certain things on the menu that I was like, oh wow, this is great. But like baseline um food there was just kind of like meh. Like it wasn't bad. I would never be like, oh, this is a bad steak, or like this is a bad gumbo. But it's just kind of like, I think the correct word is kind of pedestrian. Like it's just very kind of like yeah. Um, but yeah, I think like other than the food, everything else about the experience was really great. We actually it was really easy to combine um our two tables, because we actually had separate reservations,
Mhm.
and we went to them and we said that we want the tables put together, and they accommodated that, and they also accommodated, when we went for lunch, we had asked if we could get a table next to the water, and they accommodated that too. We had to wait a little longer, but it wasn't that much longer to get a table next to the water. So they were very accommodating with the things that we were asking them for.
Yeah, I think when we went as a group, we actually got pretty lucky because I don't think they had many larger tables. It
Hmm.
was more for like parties of 4, parties of 2,
Yeah.
that I feel like the majority of the tables were set for.
Hmm.
They do try to cram as many people in there as they can, though. Like the tables, I got up to use the bathroom at one point, and like there was one aisle in the middle of the in the middle of the restaurant that you could walk down towards the
Mhm.
bathroom. Otherwise, like you couldn't really move around very easily in there because everybody's kind of packed in. Although, and maybe it's because they had put the two tables together, I didn't feel like we had people like really close to us.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean it was like a smaller restaurant, but yeah, I didn't feel like we were like uncomfortably close to people, but
Yeah.
I also wonder, like, has the restaurant changed much, because this was like what, 6 years after opening day at Disneyland? Like, I don't think they anticipated it to be this
Yeah.
popular way back then. So, but that's how like all the good restaurants I feel like are. They're just like small.
Small. Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense because that makes that like this that just makes exclusivity. Um, but yeah, it was kind of that same way at San Hell Inn, where we kind of
Mhm.
felt like we were on top of people. Um, but it wasn't bad. Like it didn't feel. It was definitely cramped, but it didn't feel too terribly cramped, especially where we were.
If I could go back to the food, I tried a bite of Tammy's tenderloin, and I would not put it in the grade of tenderloin if I had to. It more had a chew of like a sirloin or a
Mhm.
New York strip, even. Like it just didn't have the tenderness, that melting that you kind of look for in a tenderloin. Had I been given that at a quick service, I would have been perfectly fine. But being there and it being what, $52 were the tenderloin
Yeah.
plates, I believe. Um, like when you start talking that kind of price point, then you're like really like starting to critique what you're eating and thinking about it, and so that you're in that difficult price range. Now you've spent a lot of time telling us about the ambiance, and I think Disney will do that sometimes where they'll rest on the ambiance and not put as much into the food.
Hmm.
I think I experienced that a little bit at California Grill. And when I talk highly about California Grill, it's because of the sushi, it's because of the view, and it's because of the company I had that night. The grouper was pedestrian, as you had said, but that was 6 years ago now. So I know things have changed there quite a bit, and people are happier with California Grill. But with Blue Bayou, like I was expecting better. Now I got the Creole chicken, and I was really happy with it. I love andouille sausage, and that's kind of what drew me in. There wasn't much though, but the shrimp and the chicken were really good. Like the chicken was perfectly cooked, the shrimp was perfect. So I was really happy with that. Mia's petite steak on the children's menu, that was a hockey puck, I think.
Mia had it's so funny because Mia had a hockey puck on her plate, and she picks it up with her fork and just says, "What's this?" and proceeds to just eat it off of her fork like
I
that.
think as they were like still serving all of us.
My kids are not very well trained.
Jacob likes to say we're not supper club people.
Well, it was funny too because the cuts of steak that they give you were like actually decently sized. And Jacob, your son, ended up cutting off like the butt of his steak and gave it to Mia, and it was larger than the steak that she had, that like she was given, like her petite steak. So I thought that was funny.
And I thought I was getting away cheap because I figured Jacob wasn't going to order much, and then Mia's was $13, and I was feeling like I had won there, and then Jacob decided to order a tenderloin anyway, which ended up, I think, being a saving grace because Mia was still hungry.
Yeah.
So
We had to feed Jacob again later, but we kind of figured that was going to happen. So
yeah,
I think Jacob spent most of our trip starving because we were sharing so many meals that he never got his own, and he was just hungry all the time.
I was going to ask if it was because he was picky, but that makes sense. I know Kristen
He is
and I
picky too, but
oh yeah, I know Kristen and I. We've kind of now realized that like if we share stuff, we can eat more things.
Yes,
like,
we're trying to follow your advice, but then there's so many things on the menu that we're like, we want to try all of these things. So
we end up getting two anyways, and then just sharing the two. The two that we have. So
I feel like more specifically at Disneyland, I feel like when we go to Disney World, like we can start sharing things just because like we have better access, I guess. I don't know. Or like we just tend to go there more.
Yeah. I think that helps more with like stuff that we haven't had before. Like and is this the second time that you've made a list of things that you wanted to eat and not brought it?
Yes.
Kristen will literally write down all of the things that she wants to eat, and she won't bring it on the trip. But that's what we do, is we typically have like a list of all the things that we want to eat. And it's extensive. Like it's a long list of stuff. So sharing things and sharing meals and just like getting one meal definitely helps with trying all of these different things that we want to try.
And for us, we spent a lot of time buying. I think we bought enough items for everyone, but we would, it was like everyone would take a bite or two and it's gone. So we were kind of sharing it amongst the family. And, Jacob isn't used to that. Like he's used to having his own plate, his own amount of food. And that just kind of left him hungry by having these bites everywhere.
Is a combination of that and the fact that he is so picky that, we might have gotten 5 things to share, but he would only try 1 or 2 of them.
That's true, yeah. And it was kind of like waiting. I don't know, like the kids would fight over certain things because it was what they would want to eat or something. But that's how we did it, though. We would buy a few items and we would all kind of take a bite to try it. So I feel like we spent more money. I didn't do the math, but I feel like we spent more on food than we ever have on a trip because we were trying so many new things.
And yeah, I think that just lends to the nature of that we had never been to Disneyland before, and we also had a big list of stuff we wanted to try.
So speaking of spending a lot of money on food on this trip, I feel like this is a good moment to kind of transition into the meal that we had.
Napa Rose.
So we went to Napa Rose. We tend to do this where like we have like one really big like dinner reservation that we're like super excited about, and it's at like a fancier place. Um, and when we were looking into Napa Rose, like nothing really was screaming that it was like the fanciest.
we were 100% misled because they don't list the prices of the items on the Disneyland app, and it it had like dollar signs for like range of how expensive it was, but the only like price point that I could see was like $60 and up.
And so we are used to those prefix meals that are like oh, it's a prefix meal for $60. And we were like, okay, you know what, that like that's not that bad. Like we've done that before. I think California Grill is like 90,
89.
yeah. So like we've done that before. Like that's doable. So we get in there, and it's like decently fancy. Like it's not like nothing too crazy actually. I'd probably put the ambiance of California Grill over Napa Rose.
Yeah.
I definitely like the ambiance there a lot better. Not to say that the ambiance at Napa Rose was bad, but it didn't really scream like elegant. But as soon as you opened up the menus and looked at the prices, that is what screamed elegant. Because
Or the lady waiting for me, I was just like tinkering around doing something, and she's waiting there. Like I think I'm shoving the bags underneath the
Oh, yeah.
table that's like draped with a tablecloth, because at this point we already had like 2 bags of like stuff that we bought.
Oh yeah, yep.
And she's like waiting there to put my napkin on my lap, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was right around there that we were like, oh, okay, so this is fancy. But yeah, we opened up our menus and we quickly realized that the prefix price for Napa Rose is $125.
Not 60.
Not $60. So, I mean, at that point we were already sat down, like we had already like gone this far. We were like, you know what, let's do it. And I have to say, the food that we had, I think it's the best food that I've ever had on Disney property. Probably the best food I've ever had like in my life.
I would agree.
So it was, I mean, I would say it was worth it, just based on that. If I could, I think I said this before, but if I could take California Grill's ambiance and pair it with Napa Rose's food, that would be the best dining experience ever. But yeah, like what were I honestly can't remember. Like what were some of the things that we had?
Well, we both got a steak
Mhm.
of some sort. The scallop that I got, a single scallop,
Yeah.
amazing. I don't think I'll ever have as good of scallop ever again.
Mhm.
You had something lamb that
Yeah.
I know I tried, and then there was one other thing I think that was kind of like different
Mhm.
that you maybe had gotten, maybe not. Well, no, because you got a 4-course meal.
Oh yeah, I got the calamari, which it wasn't fried calamari. It was definitely
Oh yeah,
like just squid.
it was still really good.
Yeah, which was really good.
Yeah, I mean, and two, like, we had a really good server there. His name, ironically, was Mickey.
Oh, and he is the server that everybody talks about. Apparently, like he's been there since like the opening of Napa Rose,
Which is interesting because it only opened in like 2001
Yeah.
whenever the Grand Californian
Mhm.
had opened. So I wonder if that's like the disconnect of like where we have like this like nostalgic ambiance from California Grill
Yeah,
compared to that. I don't know.
maybe.
Food was amazing.
But yeah, the
Very
the
pricey.
food was pricey, but it was great. The drinks were really good. The drinks were very strong. I had texted Brian a couple times that I was like, these drinks are great, but I'm buzzed already. So, but the whole food experience was just insane. Just everything that we tried, and we were trying each other's food, and each other's drinks, and just everything that we had. was just so good. It was just insane. Just like the most amazing food and dining that I've ever had in my life.
I wonder if the combination of the food from Napa Rose and like ambiance of a restaurant is like what Club 33 would be like. Because I don't think that you could put that food in Blue Bayou. Like maybe it would draw like the theme park crowd, but I don't know.
That's true, because it was kind of like fancier food. And I mean, we're not like fancier people, but like we went for it and it was good, but it's definitely not like that theme park food. So I guess that would make sense as to why like Blue Bayou has to have that like that type of menu to be able to like draw the theme park crowd. But then again, it is like a historic place. So you'd think they'd bring people in to be able to like if they're able to do what they do over at Napa Rose, like Blue Bayou could be better.
I need to step back really quick because I didn't mention the gumbo. I don't know if you guys had the gumbo when you're at Blue Bayou, but I think that is the one item that is worth like drowning yourself in because it's amazing. It's probably the best gumbo I've had. Now I haven't had it at Disney or in New Orleans itself, but I've had gumbos all over the place, and I thought it was amazing. So
we've got our own resident gumbo snob here to talk about the gumbo.
I mean, I would disagree with you, Brian. Since I have family from Louisiana, like they make homemade gumbo. No gumbo that I'd get at a restaurant will ever compare. I don't think. I mean, I think it's great for like people who go there and like to get like a little taste of like New Orleans food. But Disney just has to like simmer it down for people who aren't used to it.
That's true.
Although the mashed potatoes were like very spicy, like Cajun flavors in those. I think that was perfect for the restaurant. But it's all opinions. I feel like earlier when we were talking about Blue Bayou, like I feel like we were rapping on the food, and it reminds me of how people like rap on like Tony's at Disney World, saying that the food is bad. But I mean, we weren't that picky when we ate there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We ate there on our honeymoon. Now that was 2002, but I remember enjoying it. I thought it was really good.
We liked it.
But I don't know. We haven't been back since, so it's just because we want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I want to know if any followers of this podcast have you been to Club 33? Who's your connection? Talk to Kylo and Brian. Invite us. Invite all of us. We want to get in.
Yes. I endorse this.
So anyway, Napa Rose, though, you guys would totally say get there, do it.
I mean, it's worth it. It's an amazing experience. Understand that it's going to be pricey, like going in. It's just funny that we didn't think because we know prefixed menus at Disney, and like we thought that that's what it was going to be like. It was not what it was like.
And none of like the vlogs that we watch, like nobody prepares you for the price of things. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that. Otherwise, I maybe would have said, okay, we could cross this one off our list for now and like maybe try it next time. But
I mean, we're not sure when next time would be, so I feel like it's good that we kind of like, and also honestly, that day, like that whole day, our first Disney day was like next level. Like I had a lot of fun that first day with Napa Rose and Trader Sam's, which we'll get to. Like it was a lot of fun. So it was just being able to experience that and do all of that was really great. So I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, and for Trader Sam's, I think we should just point back to last week's episode, and because we covered that pretty well there. I know you guys got in there that night, after we did and didn't get, drank quite a bit because you wanted to see different things. So, but when it came to like quick service meals or even some of the other stuff you did, you ate at like I can say it, Lamplight Lounge and Carthay Circle, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
We did Plaza Inn breakfast. Otherwise, everything else was quick serve for us. We had, and this was, I've told people a lot now that I didn't do a good enough job planning, so we kind of ended up eating at Jolly Holiday like 3 times. One was for
I don't think
breakfast.
there's anything wrong with that.
Well, no, because one time was breakfast, so we got pastries. We had the lemon tea cake for the Disney100, which was really good. We had the coconut macaroon. That was really good. That was the Matterhorn macaroon. And I know you guys had that too. What'd you think?
Kylo, you let them know. I wasn't super impressed with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just more like
I think it's just fun because it looks like the Matterhorn. That's
it's like
that's
more
kind of what we
Instagram
thought.
worthy than
Yeah.
flavor. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, but I'm not the hugest fan of coconut, whereas Kylo like loves coconut.
I like coconut, but it just kind of seemed dry. I mean, maybe that's what they're supposed to be like. I don't know. I like macaroons, but it just seemed like dry coconut, and I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan. I let Kristen. I think you bit off the top. So, and I think that's where like icing is or something like that. Yeah. So I didn't really get much of that.
The snow on
But
top of the mountain.
We weren't super impressed by it.
Jacob is a huge fan of coconut too, and he really liked it. I think he ate most of the one we got. I don't know.
We did get a Mickey shaped macaron, which had fresh raspberries in the middle of it. That one was really good.
So a quick service that we stopped at was Pizza Planet. And I thought that was like one of the best experiences too that we had. What did we get? We got a piece of pizza, of course, like a pasta.
Yeah, we
and
got...
then a macaron or macaroon.
Yeah.
Like the alien one.
Yep.
That had like blueberry flavored in it.
And we it was that pasta, that new pasta that people are kind of like, this is great. And then
like
other people are like,
pasta.
Yeah, the enchilada pasta, which I thought was real good. And yeah, we thought everything was like pretty decent. We also
we did not get in there
Mm-mm.
at all. Yeah, we didn't get in there at all. So we had heard the pasta was good. We did get pasta. What was the name of that place in the back of California Adventure? You guys got
I have absolutely no idea what it was called. It was really good though. It was on Pixar Pier.
It was back where the like Lunar New Year was kind of the home base. Back by Goofy Sky School.
Yeah. So like you go in there and it's kind of set up like a school cafeteria where like you get your tray and you go through the line and just put what you want on your tray. And we got pizza and we got, I don't even know what it was, like a sun-dried tomato pasta with chicken, and it was, I think, like I was like making a list of like my top foods, and I think it was like my number 2, number 3. It was really good.
Yeah, the pasta was perfectly cooked, like, and it was so good. And then just the cream sauce and the flavoring was perfect. Jacob devoured the 2 slices of pizza you had.
Yeah, I didn't even try those.
I had a bite. It was typical Disney
quick
pizza.
service
It wasn't.
pizza.
Yeah. And then we got a lot of different things from the Lunar New Year festival that we were eating then with that meal. Some good, some bad, but
I'm bummed that we did not get a chance to try anything from the Lunar New Year. I feel like we just did not have enough time at DCA, and we went to Lamplight, but we like went into Lamplight twice because I had made a reservation for, what was it, 12:30, thinking that we'd be like in lunchtime to get the lobster nachos, when that didn't start until like 2. So we sat down and then had to like change our time, which luckily they did for us, but then we had to like come back and we had wasted probably like 30 minutes, and then they changed the restaurant over at 2, so then we like didn't get back in until 2:30. So I was a little bummed about that. Like,
Yeah, the way all of that was kind of weird. If the weird thing is that had we had reservations for 2 o'clock, we would not have gotten in
no.
at 2 o'clock because they were taking so long to switch over Lamplight Lounge for lunch. So that's something that you guys should know, is that like they actually change over everything from like breakfast to or like brunch to lunch or whatever they had before.
Yeah.
I felt like it took forever. Like we got there, we checked in. I think it was like us in like one other group that like, because when I looked at their tablets, it was like us in one group that were checking in at 2, and then we proceeded to like stand around for a
Yeah.
while.
Which
So
it frustrates me because like we like are Disney people. Like we know how to make reservations in advance, and like I like looked at the menu like probably 10 times before we went, but didn't catch that. So it frustrated me that I made that mistake, and it just seemed weird.
yeah,
Too.
I feel like the one place I wanted to eat more and kind of like just experience more was California Adventure. So I feel like if we go back, maybe we put a bigger emphasis on California Adventure, just because it's set up kind of like Epcot, where they have like food booths, and we weren't able to like do any of those food booths.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, they're kicking off Food and Wine pretty quick here. So we were looking at a little bit of that. That was another thing that I said to Tammy as we were watching the video tonight. Be nice to just say, hey, let's go over and do some Food and Wine tonight for dinner. And
that's
Anyway.
so funny because I was saying, what did I say today? I was like,
oh, Kylo was like, when we move to Florida, I'm gonna go to Epcot for a week straight and we'll ride Living with the Land every day. And I told him that he better buy a bicycle because gas costs money.
yeah, but it's like that kind of stuff that I would like to do. But that's another episode. Anyways,
I feel like that would even it out, that you're not like dropping $100 in a day, like trying 5 things at the booth. Like you could go and try like one thing or 2 things at a time. But
yeah.
And the nice thing about like, so to get into the Lunar New Year thing, and out there what they do with all their festivals is they have a sip and savor pass. And so the one for Lunar New Year, you got 6 tickets on it, and it was $45. And so you just go up to a booth, give them a tab off of your pass, and they, get whatever item you want. So we started with dessert. We got I can never remember the name. It was like an orange.
Like a mango mousse.
Mousse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It had a chocolate stem and looked like an orange to me, but
Yep.
it was delicious. And I actually, when I went up to get it, I knew that it was good because I had watched all the videos, right? So I was like, all right, I'm getting 2 because these kids are gonna go crazy on it. So I did. I got 2 of them, and we finished them no problem. They were really good. But we did get Dan noodles.
Yeah, those were not good.
No,
Would not recommend those. They were super spicy. Like our family likes spicy things, and they were dry and they were just really spicy.
And they needed something added to them. I ran into Marina with the Walker Chronicles the next day. She's on YouTube, and I was talking to her, and she said the same thing. Like it needed something, like a sauce. She said salt. I don't know that it needed salt, but
maybe something crunchy.
I would agree with a sauce. Like it needed something to wet it down a little bit.
So it just had a heat. Like that's just all that was going on, really.
And dry, like.
Oh yeah. There was. I mean,
it almost had like if you dumped like a bunch of Parmesan cheese on noodles. Like it had that powdery, dry
Yeah.
texture to it.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we were eating those up against the chicken and sun-dried tomato pasta, so that kind of had its
Yeah.
going against it. But that was just one that we didn't like. We did get a chicken bao bun that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The sauce they gave us, I think that was the super spicy curry sauce that I took one bite and was like, whoa, be careful of that one. And Paige didn't think it was all that bad.
No, I didn't
So
think it was
maybe
bad.
it was just that first bite for me, but that chicken bao was really, really good. I wanted to try some of the drinks, but that opportunity didn't really present itself. So, but yeah, that was kind of one of the things we wanted to do is just try a few of those items. And again, it was tasting things here and there, so everyone got a bite or two of things. And the pork and shrimp wontons, I don't think were much of a hit either, although I did like them.
They're all right. Yeah.
I
So
think that those were things that I wanted to try, like the
Mhm.
bao and the wontons. We did
Yeah.
try some bao buns from Lamplight, which were good.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that they were good. They had like this little kick of heat that would hit you like 15 seconds later.
Mhm.
But I did enjoy those. Like we did enjoy the food there at Lamplight too. It's just, I guess, the process, like the
Yeah.
timing.
We also had so the first table that we had, so that what's cool about Lamplight is actually part of it is kind of like it shoots out into the water.
Up here.
So yeah, so it's like a pier. And so our first table was on that pier, and like that felt really cool. But then our second table was on the inside, which the inside of Lamplight Lounge is still pretty cool. But I think I would have preferred the pier table.
I don't know if they had anyone sitting out there though for the like lunch service.
Really, maybe it just turns into a bar
Yeah, I
at
don't
that
know.
point.
I don't know.
But yeah, Lamplight was really good. I can't remember the name of the drink that I got, but it was very much, it reminded me of Sonic's Ocean Water, and I think that's kind of what it was called, was like ocean something.
Like open water or something.
Yeah. And I got that, and it was very refreshing. It was very good. But yeah, like we got there, we ordered some drinks, and we ordered the lobster nachos and the bao buns and stuff like that, and everything was very good, and it was it was just it was a decent experience. It was just kind of like the whole getting a table and
Yeah.
everything, like going through all of that. But
Like now
You
we
guys
know
ate
for
it-
next time.
yeah.
yeah, there you go. You guys ate at Carthay Circle, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty cool. Just like walking into the restaurant, although we were tucked into a back room, but we had an awesome server. Like at the end of our meal, I'd asked him, because I was like, what did you do in a previous life before he worked there? And he was in like comedy, like stand-up comedy, and he said he did something with a Netflix show also, and like had planned to move to New York to like get into like show business somewhere, but like his mom or mother-in-law ended up getting sick and he ended up staying. But he was like so Disney. Like
he was everything he did was a presentation. Like he had like everything memorized. He was like it was just some amazing showmanship. And it was interesting hearing him talk about that story of like his life story. I don't even think I heard about it. I think you guys
Yeah.
I wasn't even there for that. But just I found it interesting because this was kind of like what we had going on with our trip, was we didn't do any like California stuff. This was like only the second time that I had been to California. But you always think of California as like where you go to like make it in show business. And I found it interesting that he was like, oh yeah, like I was gonna move to New York to like get into show business, but I stayed here. And I was like, isn't here where the show business is? Like you're in Anaheim, like it's like right next to LA. Like go do the show business. But yeah, that kind of like, I don't know. I've always thought of LA as like that. This is where you go to like make it and stuff. But it was just interesting to hear him talk about going to New York to be able to do that. So yeah.
And I think we had a good meal there. It wasn't great. So I would say if you're thinking about going to Carthay Circle, go to the lounge. Because I feel like they have like better options, in my opinion. You can still get all the drinks. I feel like you could still like go like walk about the restaurant and like see the cool like photos that they have and like get the vibe of like what the Carthay Circle Theater kind of like looks like. Um
And
but maybe with a better food experience.
yeah, and we were upstairs, so it was cool. It was cool to see all of that stuff, and we walked by like that like main room that is like that tower.
Mhm.
So that was cool. But yeah, I have to say, like, the whole bottom lounge area still feels that way. And I do have to point out that I was able to see, for some reason, I'm a big Zorro fan, like old school Zorro, like Walt Disney Zorro. And they had like a little shrine to the guy who played Zorro. I'm pretty sure his first name is Guy. I can't remember his last name. But they had like original props there, so I was like kind of geeking out about that. That was really cool. But yeah, like that whole bottom area, like I feel like the bottom area has cooler stuff
Mhm.
than the top. So yeah, like lounge, I would probably suggest that, because it was fun and it was cool to like have that history and everything. But yeah, the food was decent. Probably not something we'd do again. So
I would go back and go to the lounge and
yeah.
like I kind of regret because I talked to someone who goes to Disneyland frequently and like recommended the lounge food over the restaurant, but it's the FOMO. I just like
Yep.
I needed to be inside and like needed to know.
So did you guys get over and get Mickey shaped beignets?
We did get beignets from the French market. I
Yeah.
think our second to last day. So it would have been Sunday morning. We got the beignets and we got a mint julep.
Yeah, I thought the mint julep was decent. I thought the beignets were beignets. I don't know. I'm a big fan of beignets, but I can't really tell the difference between the two. Like what makes a good beignet. But Kristen knows. Kristen's all about it.
Well, even just comparing them to like Scat Cat's lounge at Port Orleans, for some reason I just liked them better. I feel like the beignets that we got, and it's probably just like the batch that we got, but they were like flat, thin, like not like super like pillowy, doughy. And yeah, we went like very early in the morning, so I wonder if that just had something to do with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like they had just opened up when we got there.
Well, I don't think they had just opened, but there weren't many people like there at that time.
So we got them in the evening, but I would agree that they were kind of flat.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun experience. Like the whole thing is, you need to shake them up in the bag before you eat them. And we made sure we did that. We got a 6-pack so that everybody could have one. We took terrible pictures of them. They were fuzzy and like I want to post them, but like the lighting was terrible and they just don't look good at all. But I mean, I enjoyed eating it. I think if it's something that you need to try, definitely mobile order them. Don't stand in that line. I don't think it's worth the line. We did not get them in julep there because we all had them at Blue Bayou, which I think the mint juleps are delicious. But yeah, we just got some beignets quick, and that was our snack. I don't think we had anything else there.
I don't think
we
so.
did try. We also tried the seasonal ones. It was like a caramel bacon or something, and I thought that the beignet itself, like without the special dipping sauce, like that beignet was better than just like the plain ones. The dipping sauce I wasn't a huge fan of. But and I know Kylo has said like multiple times to me, like about like our trip recap in general, that when we went in February, like early February, it was still chilly in California. Like it was cold to us. Like it didn't feel like Disney because we're used to Florida Disney, like heat, like humidity and like thinking of like beignets like that originated in New Orleans. Like that's like the swamp of the country.
Yeah.
So I don't, when we went, it was just like still kind of rainy that morning. It was cold, dreary.
Yeah. So you just didn't have that like. Also, I mean, like that area might be cool because I think bands play back in that
Oh
area every
yeah,
so often.
yeah.
So like I think just like the whole ambiance in general might have risen the whole experience up. But yeah, it was like a little rainy. Like it was early in the morning. We got them. There was like nobody in there. So yeah, I feel like with all of that, because I mean, every time we go to Scat Cats, it's like you've got the ambiance of Port Orleans, and we just love it there. So we're always excited to get there. So yeah, I think having that, it just didn't feel as magical as like it usually does with beignets. But I mean, yeah.
Did you guys end up going there to get Monte Cristo to the French
No,
market?
no, I think you have to get that at Cafe Orleans, which is
Oh yeah,
another
that's
sit
right.
down.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Which one are they
Um,
retheming with
they're
Tiana?
so French Market's now closed and the Mint Julep bar is closed.
Oh,
You have to go
now?
to you have to go to the Royal Street Veranda for
Hmm.
any
Oh,
beignets now.
Wow.
It's going to turn into Tiana's Palace. So
interesting. Am I like under a box here? They haven't announced that they've closed the ride yet, have they? At Disneyland?
Splash
Splash
Mountain?
Mountain?
No.
No, they
Yeah.
haven't. No.
Oh, weird.
Hmm.
No,
They're
they're
gonna.
changing that over. So yeah, she's pretty much taking over New Orleans Square now.
Yeah.
Well, I think
So
that's good. That's a. I mean, it makes sense.
yeah, I have
I
no
want
problem
them
with
to
it.
bring beignets to Magic Kingdom in Florida, like in the park. I think that
Hmm.
they need to have like a Tiana's like quick service.
I bet. Yeah. I mean,
They are. They're
they're gonna have a
Pecos
Tiana's.
Bills.
Is it gonna be quick service or it's Pecos Bills?
Yeah.
I thought that
Yep.
was just a rumor.
That's a little. I feel like it should. What's is Pecos Bills right on the corner next to Splash Mountain? I thought it was a little further down of like that row of.
It's like right on the corner.
It's right on the
Okay,
corner there where
yeah.
the parade starts. Yeah.
Okay, then that would make sense.
Sad.
We had Pecos Bills, but we didn't have the corn cake. We're still salty about that.
But the tacos, like the tacos were good.
You know what I bet they will do is they'll move that like the taco stuff from Pecos Bills over to Tortuga Tavern, because that's what that used to be back in the day. Was I remember
Yeah.
getting tacos from that area, but I think now it's more like seasonal. Like they'll only open it up if it's like super busy out.
Oh, Tortuga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I
don't know
bet
how
they'll
I
move
feel
a lot
about
of that.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, what are they going to put in that restaurant? Like a shrimp po' boy, but then they have Liberty Square. Where can you get
Liberty
the
Tree
lobster?
Tavern.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lobster roll from. Those are too similar.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Well, maybe they'll
Anywho.
have a gumbo that can disappoint you.
We're
They
discussing.
should-
We're talking about Disneyland dining.
They should hire you. You can be the sommelier of the gumbo.
No.
Sommelier, the gumbalier.
The gumbalier. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Kristen is right. Let's get back to Disneyland. We did also what was that Pim's Test Kitchen?
Oh yeah.
We also ate at Pim's Test Kitchen
at a DCA.
Yeah. And wasn't that a breakfast?
We did get breakfast there. We were only going to order one meal and share it because then we were going to move on, but then ended up just being delayed that we each got a meal.
Yeah, yep.
I thought that the food was good there.
Yeah, and it was interesting too because I think the coolest thing that we had was, Kristen, you had like a little tiny egg.
The tiniest little fried egg.
That was really cool. And
but
like
now I'm getting reminded of all the quick service in DCA that we did get to try.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about. Like in Cars Land.
Oh yeah, Cars. Oh yeah, and then we should probably talk about this too. Was that experience at Cars Land where we I don't know if it's like a California thing, if their like internet is not as good, but this happened to us a couple times where like just like the systems weren't working. But we did this with in Cars Land. Did we order from a spot? Like, what was it called?
I think it was just us. Well, we ordered the cozy cones from your guys'
Yeah.
recommendation that they were so good, but I mobile ordered them.
Mm-hmm.
And they opened at like 10 o'clock. So we were sitting there waiting. I think I waited like 10 minutes waiting for my mobile order to be ready because I was seeing all these people like in the line, which wasn't long,
Mm-hmm.
getting their cones, going about their day. And I went in line and I was like, I mobile ordered this. Like, and the guy was like, oh, we don't even see it. And they, on their iPad, I could see he like closed out all of their apps, opened it back up, and then like just was like, oh no, like we have like 12 mobile orders. Like,
Yeah.
let's get going, guys.
They like freaked out. Like they like reset the system and all of a sudden they had like literally, I think it was literally 12 orders. And so that was interesting. But yeah, that was weird. But like there were other like weird system things too that like
I think it was probably just an us thing with
it could
mobile
be.
ordering.
Well,
I don't know.
and we talked about this before where it's like I just don't think people out in California, because they're always very slow to adopt like the new like Disney parks stuff. Like they're just now getting into like magic bands and stuff like that. So I just feel like it's possible people just mobile order less, and so they're not like as worried about it. But I mean, I might be wrong about that. But that was kind of the vibe that I got, was people wanted to use their park tickets. People wanted to wait in lines and go order their food like the normal way. But yeah, that was interesting that we had we had to go and ask them about it, and their like system had to completely reboot to like see our order.
What was your guys' favorite cone? Cozy cone.
I like the chili one the
chili
best.
one.
Yeah,
That was the one I got to eat most of because my kids love mac and cheese. But I thought the mac and cheese was good too.
they
But
were
it was-
both good. Yeah,
I was expecting the cone to be a thicker bread. It was more
Mm-hmm.
like it was quite thin, right?
Yeah.
Like I expected it to be more bready and thicker, I guess. But it was still I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I wish we would have
They're
gotten more. But
Yeah,
we
I
ordered
think
two of each, and the kids like took the mac and cheese and wouldn't give them up. So
I think I ended up ordering the chili cone just because it had like more sauce, like when you got to the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we shared both of them.
Yeah. We ate probably the same amount
Mm-hmm.
in each. So, but yeah, I thought they were real good too. They actually make something like that. I was having flashbacks to Wisconsin State Fair, because they make something kind of like that at Wisconsin State Fair. Not as good. But yeah, I thought they were really good.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. That's something that they could like incorporate in Disney World.
And it's funny, back in the day, it's funny you say that. Back in the day, I'm not sure. This may be incorrect history, because it might be Disneyland that did this. But I thought in Disney World at one time they had a handwich, which was like kind of like what we ate, like just like a cone filled with different types of meat. And that's why it was a big deal that they were bringing that back to Cars Land. So if you're interested, look up Handwich at Disney and
it was at Disneyland.
learn all about
they
it.
had
It was
them
at
early on.
Disneyland. Okay, yeah.
Not sure why they got rid of them, but yeah.
Another little history nugget here: Doritos were invented at, was it Disney World or was it Disneyland?
You told this story. I don't know this one very well.
I'm pretty sure it was Disney World. Doritos were invented in Disney World.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Did you guys get any other sweet treats at DCA? Didn't the kids get like slushies back in like the Inside Out area?
We were looking at them back in Pixar Pier at Bing Bong's. I think they're just the same thing as those like goofy glaciers that we've gotten at Disney World. Nobody got one. I expected Mia to beg for one, but she didn't even bat an eyelash at it. We did get a Forky cake pop and a churro toffee back there. The churro toffee is where it's at. You gotta get one of those.
We also got the Jack Num Num
Oh, the
cookies.
yeah.
I had that on my list, but we rode the Incredicoaster at like 9 a.m.
Yeah, like right away.
And yeah, I didn't want to eat a cookie right away in the morning. I don't even think that they were open that early, maybe too.
Yeah.
And we also got 2 shakes at Schmoozies, and those were really good.
Yeah, lots of whipped cream on them,
Yeah.
but they were good.
It was a
I don't think-
banana something.
Oh,
Wasn't
that
it?
sounds good.
Yeah, there was a
That
banana
one was really
and then we
good,
got
yeah.
the Steamboat Willie one, which is for the Disney 100,
Mm.
which was kind of a cookies and cream. I do have a good picture of that, so I'll have to post that. The other one, I think it was banana caramel. I think is what it was.
Yeah. I think that was the only desserts we got there.
In
that
California
I can
Adventure,
remember,
I
yeah.
don't think we tried any desserts besides if you consider Starbucks a dessert
Yeah.
later in the evening. But
I grabbed, so our last day, you guys had flown off already. We finished the day at DCA and then we went back over to Disneyland where we had left a lot of stuff in the locker. We had to get that and we wanted to pick up some stuff to take home. So I grabbed a churro toffee when we were buying and brought that out when we were sitting on the plane the next day, and like it even tasted even better.
So that night at DCA was actually one of my favorite foods that we had. It was, and I don't know if you remember the name of where it was because I don't, but they were wonton nachos and they were so good.
ooh, that sounds amazing.
That sounds
The
really
Lucky Fortune Cookery.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
good.
Yeah,
We had gotten the tacos in that area, and I saw that place, and I was like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
already eating.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember that.
jealous.
Yeah, we had mobile ordered at Cocina Cucamonga and got the quesabirria tacos and something for Jacob. I can't remember what it was. Probably a cheeseburger, but she went over to the Lucky Fortune Cookery to get a kids meal for Mia and came back with these wonton nachos that were awesome.
They're amazing, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe them. Like
I was trying to think of what meat was on them even.
I don't know. It was dark, like that area, like where we ate, because we ate right outside of where you got the tacos from. It was like super dark, like you couldn't even see what you were eating.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what was on them, but they were really good.
Yeah, definitely worth and they're like fried wontons, so they're light and crispy, like which is even better than like a chip. I think it's just like they were so light.
Yeah, and they didn't get soggy at all. Really,
Yeah.
I don't know. They were really good. And
I think
there's a lot of it for like I can't remember how much they cost, but it wasn't like a ridiculous price, and like I never would have been able to finish a whole order by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, we are definitely forgetting like one of the highlights of food at DCA. That was the free piece of bread that we got when we went through it was like the bread making exhibit.
Well, Brian, you were talking about it, and then we just happened to like have some time to kill over there, so it was like the bread making tour or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Very
know what to expect
interesting.
either.
Yeah,
I
think
I
that's
heard people talk about it, and I walked in there, and they give you like this thin slice of a baguette.
I think and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but just like areas like that just like haven't been touched by like trying to like redo DCA, that and kind of like the area that has the Monsters Inc. ride like just didn't really make much sense to us. So like I just don't think that's been touched yet to like try to like revitalize that area.
I wonder if they'll get there because like this area, like the taco place and the Lucky Fortune Cookery, like that area, like somewhere is getting rethemed to San Francisco or whatever from Big Hero 6.
Yep. Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll eventually just like kind of like phase some of that out because yeah, that bread walkthrough, like it's cool, but how does this relate
It
to
was
Disney?
definitely like edutainment. Yeah, like the way California Adventure used to be with like they used to have a whole like farming exhibit, so it definitely like had that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of it'll change with the whole San Francisco, and we don't know what they're bringing for Avatar, but they're bringing something Avatar over there. There's been some talk, some speculation that it could be in the Monsters Inc. area. If
They
they were
had
to
so
do
many
something there,
empty like studio buildings
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
there.
There were
Yeah.
a lot of like little like corridor areas that I would like look down and be like, "What's down here?" There's literally nothing. It was just like a little courtyard area.
Yeah.
So that would make a lot of sense if like that whole area back there just kind of turned into Pandora. I think that would be cool.
There was a food booth over by Monsters Inc. though that had like a line of like
Oh,
20
that was like that
people
ice cream,
probably.
the ice cream booth, right?
Was it? I don't know, but
I thought it was
it
ice cream.
smelled good over there.
Yeah.
I think for our next trip, I would probably prioritize because now I'm so intrigued by these fried wonton nachos.
Yeah.
Prioritize that and maybe trying more churros because we only had
We
one
had
churro.
One churro, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
And,
we
like,
had
a-
so many churros.
Oh, the churro game out there is so strong. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard people say that churros in Disney World suck, so I've never actually had one there. But the churros out at Disney World are amazing. And
Disneyland.
Disneyland,
Like,
sorry.
opposite.
I don't understand. Sorry. I don't understand why Disney World can't have the churro carts like they have at Disneyland.
Yeah. I
Because
don't know.
you just
The
order them
water.
and they're like made fresh right there in this cart, just like they do with popcorn. So I don't know. I was impressed.
We had
Speaking of popcorn, I enjoyed the popcorn in Disneyland. I have to say, I liked it a lot. I think the popcorn in Disney World, I think it's pretty similar, but there's just something about the popcorn carts out in the land that it just
It's a little
hits
pepper
better.
people.
Yeah, it's the
The roasty toasties.
yes.
Jacob was looking for him after I pointed him out. He's like, "You said there's how many?" I said there's 6. And he's going, "Okay, well, I've got this one." And he's like counting them. And I don't think he ever found all of them, but
Oh, fun.
he was very interested. We went to the Little Red Wagon, which is at the end of Main Street, and got a
Back
corn
to
dog.
Disneyland.
Yes. That corn dog may have been the best corn dog ever.
Yeah, it was really good. The Paige liked it so much that when we went, the 4 of us went to Sweethearts Night. On their way out of the park, they stopped and all got one again.
Yeah, that was definitely worth the money.
Mhm.
And the thing that I just wanted to talk about a little bit is that we did Plaza Inn breakfast on Monday, and that was the best experience of a breakfast I think we've ever had at Disney. We had, I believe, 7 characters stop by the table. When you first walk in, you get a picture, just like you would with Cinderella at the royal table, how it's kind of a photo op when you first walk in. That's what it was with Minnie. So we got some great pictures with Minnie, and then she ended up coming by the table later because we got a later morning breakfast. It was like 10:30, I think. And so we sat there. We just got comfortable, ate. We had 7 or 8 characters stop by. We had Susie from Cinderella, which is one of the mouses, and she's stopping by. And it's like, you're getting fun characters that you don't see at Disney World ever. But they stopped at our table 3 different times, every single character.
Wow.
And, we just kind of hung out because breakfast ends at like 11, but they still serve until about 11:30, and they just let you hang out for a while until they flip over to a quick service for the rest of the day. And the food was terrific.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got of course the Mickey waffles. They were mini, not Mickey, but we got the waffles, so we're all happy with that. They had basic breakfast foods, but they also had like a made to order omelet station. They had
Biscuits and gravy, like a hash brown casserole, a fruit bar, a Jello bar. I think Mia had like 4 bowls of Jello. I don't know.
And
Did you guys have a table inside or outside?
We were outside.
Okay.
They have a porch.
Yeah,
that
we were on the
sitting
porch.
on.
Yeah.
That was right by the Little Red Wagon, actually, and it was great. It was kind of like our own little corner of the world, and yeah, we had plenty of room, and the weather was perfect. It was a beautiful day that day.
Yeah.
The weather was perfect for us sitting there. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I was expecting it to be more expensive, so when I saw $41 for an adult, which is kind of expensive for breakfast, but I was kind of happy to see that number because I was expecting it to be more like 60. So
I don't. Have we ever done a character breakfast?
I have when I was really young.
Oh,
but I don't remember it.
jealous of your character breakfast.
See, the other place that I really liked the food from was the Hungry Bear.
Yeah.
We had like a cheddar hash brown burger or something.
Potato and cheddar cheeseburger is what it was called. Yeah.
And I was mad at myself though because I forgot to look at like the list of what we wanted before we ordered, and we just ordered the regular onion rings, and it's actually the chili onion rings that you want to get from there. So I'm gonna have to try those sometime.
We got to go back.
Yep.
We'll come with.
Yeah, right. One thing that I'm now remembering that we had, and we actually had this together, was Bengal Barbecue.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I really enjoyed Bengal Barbecue. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I thought those were really good too.
Yeah, definitely.
I think very unique and like fitting for Adventureland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Those we got the chicken and the beef. So yeah, definitely got to try those if you're out there.
And then I don't know if you guys saw like a ton of people walking around with the giant pickles, but we kept like seeing them everywhere, and we did end up getting one of those, and they were really good.
Yeah. I think Paige ate most of it, and she was almost sick after eating it though. Because
it was huge. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a pickle on a stick or a pickle in a pouch.
They're
everywhere out there too.
Yeah. But yeah, you had talked about how we ate at Jolly Holiday a lot, and I liked everything we got there. I thought the grilled cheese and tomato soup was really good.
Yeah, I did like that. That was actually something that we had eaten for like a breakfast, like air quotation marks.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it was like not 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, probably like 9ish. But I was happy that they had it that early because that was the only time that we ended up eating at Jolly Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
We had the birria sandwich too. It was like a toasted cheese birria sandwich that was really good as well. So yeah, I highly recommend. I mean, that was one of Jolly Holiday. I think was at the top of my list of a place to go. So I didn't mind being there 3 times. I did miss out on the Plaza Inn chicken though. That was one that I wanted to try and completely forgot about it.
We did try that for a dinner one night, and it was good. Like I liked it a lot.
That was also kind of a random dinner. We were just kind of like what do you want to eat? And like, oh, let's go to Plaza.
Well, because at one point in the day, like there was a line coming outside of like the porch like seating area, and I was like, okay, we're not gonna get this because I didn't know if they had mobile order, and like we were having bad luck with mobile order. But we had gone, I don't know if it was like right before Sweethearts Night had started. We just like ended up going in there for a little while.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. I liked that. That was all very good food.
Did you guys try any other 100th snacks besides like the little lemon cake and the shake?
We had the 100 churro.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We had the celebration cake. You guys had that too at Blue Bayou.
Oh yeah, Blue Bayou.
That was really good.
And then the whatever the name of the place is that we went to for the pizza and the pasta, we had like the 100. It was like a mousse.
Oh yeah, that was okay.
It was all right. Yeah.
It was one of their like prepackaged type of things. It seemed like, and it had some like little chocolate pearls on it that made it celebration.
Yeah, they kind of always have they have those types of desserts like for almost everything that they have going on at Disney. So it's just like typical.
We did have that like purpley drink with the little gummy
yeah.
thing in it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was good.
Yeah,
Tasted
that was good.
Purple Kool-Aid, but it was good. It was cute. Like, definitely nice to take a picture of.
Yeah.
We did forget about the Tigger tails.
Oh yeah, those were really
I was
good.
going to ask you about those. I didn't end
Yeah.
up getting one.
Mhm.
I
The
think
kids keep talking about those. They actually, so Brian and Paige went back to Star Wars Land to like take some pictures with his lightsaber, and I took Jacob and Mia on Winnie the Pooh again and Pirates again. And when we got off Winnie the Pooh, they were both like, "Mom, can we please go get some more Tigger tails?" So I went in there with them, but it was a super long line, so we didn't end up getting any more. But all three of them are still talking about those, and they want to go back and get more of those.
They're
I wonder-
marshmallow covered in caramel, covered in a white chocolate that's flavored with an orange flavoring.
Oh, geez.
And then
You
there's
know-
also milk chocolate on there. So
There's a personal shopper that I follow that goes to Disneyland. I'm sure there's like plenty of them, but I had ordered popcorn buckets from her in the past, and I think she's posted that she'll send like treats, like she'll send the churro toffee and like other things, because she was sending the gingerbread cookies during Christmas. I wonder if she could send a Tigger tail.
We could find out.
I think we need to do that.
Yeah,
Tigger tails and churro toffee.
might
Like,
be a good thing
Yes.
to put in a certain holiday basket that's coming up pretty soon here.
no, yeah.
Would that holiday be Easter?
Yes.
I was gonna say St. Patrick's Day. You guys
I don't
have
know.
baskets
I
for
wasn't
that?
sure if there's any kids listening to this,
Darn childless millennials don't get any of this stuff.
That's true. You don't get to decide what goes in that basket. The bunny does.
Right? But I can give the bunny hints.
There you go.
Yeah, you have the bunny's phone number.
Right?
So I'm sure
Anyways.
someone is telling us that we're missing something or there's something that they enjoy. So come on out to Instagram. Let us know. Facebook, we got our community. You can tell us there. We'd love to hear whatever you guys are eating at Disneyland and Disney World. So check us out there.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun talking. Thank you, Kristen and Tammy, for joining us and talking about food. It's one of our favorite subjects. But like we always say, some live close.
But others don't.
So let's talk about it.
We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.
Bye.